Yo, what is up, Yugi fam? Hope everybody is having a great day today. Welcome to another video. It's been some time. It's been almost 2 weeks since the last upload, but here we are. I have something really cool to showcase for you guys today. It's Darklords. Never featured Darklords on this channel before, and I've always been a fan of the archetype. I just never really had enough faith, I guess, in the deck until now. I definitely think that I have something unique, something competitive for you guys to try out, if you guys choose to play the deck, that is. So we'll get right into the main deck. And before we start, guys, if you do enjoy videos such as these, where I do go in depth and I explain everything step by step, if you guys do appreciate videos like these, please consider subscribing and liking the video. It would be much appreciated. We're almost at 850, and it's really exciting, creeping up to 900, which is great. So yeah, let's get right into it. So starting off with the main deck, we run 3 Eggshell. This is, I believe, an obvious 3 of, because she's your draw 2. You're not really gaining advantage with her, which is why, I mean, she's very powerful, right? Draw power is great, but the reason that I don't like her that much is because, unfortunately, you plan to draw really hard with this card, but you just have to play it. It helps you dig. It's a consistency card. It gets you Darklords in the grave, so depending on what your hand looks like, she could be an insanely valuable card, but if you're just relying on the draw, then it's pretty tough if you draw into, like, unplayable cards. But again, just necessary 3 of, because it's consistency. You do wanna draw it, and you do want to open up with it as much as you can. And it's unfortunate that it's a 2 for 2, so it's not like she says, discard this and a Dark Lord, draw 3, and it's just an instant +1. But again, still got to play it, and it does get you this guy in the graveyard, which I do play 3 of, 3 Superbia. This guy's the Monster Reborn, so ideally you want to pitch him off Eggshell and have the Reborn spell in hand to be able to revive him, revive Eggshell, and that's how you start gaining your advantage. But yeah, so you want to play 3 copies. I'm playing 2 of the Indulged. I really don't like this card that much, but it is a consistency card. It does get your engine going. It does search you the Eggshell or anything else that you may need. The reason that I don't like this card is that it locks you into only using fairy effects for the rest of the turn. It's cool that it's not during the turn you use the effect. Otherwise, this card to me would be complete garbage, because it would restrict you from using some more powerful cards. But again, because it is for the rest of the turn, I can live with it. And again, it's a consistency card. It gets your engine going. So yeah, I want to at least play 2 copies. I don't want to max out at 3 because I don't want to see it too often. And I play 1 of the Ukobak. This card's pretty cool. It's the Foolish Burial. Unfortunately, it doesn't really do anything by itself. You have to, like, draw it and the Reborn spell to be able to gain value off of this card. But most of the time, you're giving this to your opponent with the Indulged. And it doesn't serve any other purpose other than that. It's another normal summon. I don't really want to play too many normal summons. You'll see why in a sec. This will all come together. And then 1 Zerato. I like this card. I like the board wipe, the Regeki, I guess. It's pretty cool. I'm a little iffy on this card, but it's another Dark Lord. You want to play a decent amount of names. I play 1 Amdusk. I only play 1 because this card, you discard this and any Dark Lord card to add back any Dark Lord card from your grave to your hand. So it does have some utility. I don't really find myself using that effect too often. I mainly just wanted another name so that way I can abuse their effects. Like, I can have this in Eggshell to be able to use my Dark Lord spells and traps multiple times. So I do want to have the other name so I could use both in the same turn. And then for the last Dark Lord, it's a sort of, I guess, a small Dark Lord count compared to regular Dark Lord lists. But again, you'll see why in just a moment. So one Morning Star, I really like this card. I like that you can just start spamming the field. So that's you can combo kind of nicely with both these cards because this card will allow you to give your opponent an effect monster, so that way when you summon this guy, you'll be able to summon like an eggshell from deck or something like that. But yeah, it's pretty good. Nice beater. And then it has that foolish effect where you gain life. It's pretty cool. It's not really too relevant. Sometimes, but when you are going second, it is insane. If your opponent has like a full board, you could like summon 2 eggshells and make rank 10 plays, or summon 2 suburbias, make rank 8 plays. So it's pretty nice. Yeah, that is it for the main deck Dark Lord monsters. Moving on to the other, I guess, engines in the deck. So this is my favorite starter in the deck. It's 3 Diviner. Diviner's really, really strong in this deck. It actually allowed this deck to have a 1-card combo, which is cool. Because this deck, one of its inherent weaknesses is relying on way too many cards to be able to function. Like you have to draw like specific combination of cards. Like you want to have Eggshell, and then you want to send this with Eggshell to draw 2, and then ideally you want to draw into like your banishment, or you want to draw into your contact, so that way this can search banishment, and then banishment can search contact, and then you could start reviving the Dark Lords from grave. But again, it's very specific. But with this card, it is a standalone card, and the main reason you run this card is because you send Trias. So Trias is actually one of the newer cards. It came out in Eternity Code, but I never really saw play. But this is a pretty interesting card. It says that it's a quick effect during the main phase, so either your opponent's main phase or your main phase. You contribute up to 3 fairies and then summon this card, and then you can apply the effects up to the number of fairy monsters you tributed to summon this. So if you summon 2 or more, then on resolution of the summon, you can pop any card your opponent controls, which is amazing. And then if you tributed 3 fairies, you could draw 2 cards, which is nice. And you could use both those effects. So if you tributed 3, you'll get the pop and you'll get the draw 2, which is amazing. That doesn't really come up. The pop comes up more than the draw 2. But the main reason you want to play this is that you send it off of Diviner, and then you tribute Diviner to summon this, and then Diviner will get its other effect, which nobody really knows exists because it never comes up, to summon a fairy from the deck. So it reads, if this card is tributed, you can special summon 1 level 2 or lower fairy monster from your deck, and we are summoning Eva straight from the deck, which is really cool. And the reason that you summon Eva is because when you summon Eva and you go into a link 2 with these 2 cards, you'll be able to search your Diviner, or I'm sorry, your Orange Light and Diviner. If you have like 2, you could search 1 Diviner, 1 Orange Light. But yeah, I play 2 Orange Light. It's the only monster hand trap in the deck, and I don't want to clog on 3, so I play 2 because it is searchable. So yeah, 2 Diviner. It's a really strong engine, man. It's like really strong for the deck. And then, so this is the only proxy. Actually, I lied. There's another proxy that I'll show you guys later on. But yeah, I thought I had this card, but this card is Angel 01. So I'll try to put it up on the screen so you guys can see. But Angel 01, it's a card that reads, if you can reveal a level 7 or higher monster and then special summon it. And then while it's face up on the field, you can, if you attribute summon, I believe, a level 7 or higher monster, you can tribute summon it in addition to your regular normal summon set while it's face up on the field. It's mainly used as an extender. You just have to reveal any level 7 or higher to special summon it. But the extra tribute summon does come up, especially when you're trying to like summon like Morning Star and then trying to go off that way. So yeah, I just like it. It's a really good extender. It's another fairy also. And then the last cards we are running is the Dasher and the Celestial. Oh my god, DPE is going in everything, and this deck is no exception, especially if you want this deck to be as competitive as possible. It's the reason why Diviner is actually really powerful, because you search Herald of Orange Light and then make Verte and then summon the Phoenix Enforcer, and then if you hard draw the Fusion Destiny, you'll summon the Darklord Link 2. Now for the spells, you're running 3 Banishment. This is the Rhoda. You got to max out on this card. 3 Contact. You want to max out on this card because of Eggshell, mainly. So you want to have a higher chance of drawing this card off Eggshell. And also, you want this card in the grave, so that way you can use Eggshell or Amdusk to activate its effect to keep spamming the field. So yeah, you definitely want to max out 3 and 3. And then we have 3 Fusion Destiny. And then 2 Droplet for the last spell card in the deck. For the Darklord traps, I'm running 2 Rebellion. This is my favorite Darklord trap because it pops any card on the field non-targeting, which I love. I love that it doesn't target, and I think this is generally better against everything. That's why I run 2, because I kind of do want to draw this card and set it and activate it during my opponent's turn and then use it again with Eggshell or Amdusk. So I want to be able to resolve this multiple times pretty much. So against control, it's really good. Even against combo, it's decent. But generally, again, it's good against everything. That's why I did play 2 copies. One of the enchantment, this is the Mind Control, which is amazing. You want to have access to at least 1. That way, if it's in the grave, you can use it. This is not this. This is supposed to be the Sanctified, I think it's called Sanctified Darklord. So this is actually not that great of a card because it's very specific, so I don't play this card. I play the other one. The other one is the Effect Negation, so it can target an effect monster, negate its effects, and then you gain life of that monster. So yeah, this is not this. This is the Sanctified Darklord. So yeah, this is the other proxy in the deck. It's a rare from Flames of Destruction, and I flipped my whole attic just to find it, and I could not find it, but I found this damn card. And then the last of the traps is 3 Imperm. This is the only other hand trap in the deck. I at least wanted to play something, a decent card going second. If you draw it as your 6th card, doesn't play into tactics. So yeah, that is it for the main deck. The main deck is 42 cards. For the extra deck, I'm playing 1 Condemned Darklord. This is a Link 2. It's a decent Link 2. What I do like about it is that if you would normal summon, you can banish monsters instead of tributing, which is awesome. And then it searches any Darklord monster by discarding any card, which is decent. I really wish it just searched any Darklord card. Like, it would not have been the craziest thing to search like a spell, trap, or monster. It would have made the deck a bit faster. It would have made it a way better Link 2 for the archetype, but it's only locked into monsters, and then during the end phase you gain life. But it is one of the it is one of the relevant links in the deck. Verte is definitely the most important one because this is the main one that you summon off with Diviner's combo. I'll show you guys the combo at the end, by the way, in addition to test hands, to give you guys a better understanding of how the deck functions. Herald of Mirage Lights. Yeah, this is a pretty cool Link 2. It just says that it needs 2 monsters with the same type and attribute except tokens, so mainly like dark fairies or light fairies. You could use 2 light fairies, 2 dark fairies, make this, and then you could just negate a spell or trap by sending a fairy monster from your hand to your graveyard, which is nice. You don't really go into it too often, but it is there just in case. And then utility cards, we have Phoenix, Cerberus, Unicorn, for the only Link 3, and then that's it for the Link 2s. And then for the Link 4s, we have Appaloosa. If your hand's absolutely insane, you end with Appaloosa plus like DPE. It's great with like maybe Eggshell. So there's some hands that I've opened up with where I managed to make like 4 to 5 disruptions, which is insanely good for this deck. And then for the Link 4s, we have Access Code. Obviously, it's access code. It's once you on your following turn, it's fairly easy to make this card. I'm playing Borrelsword in this deck too because sometimes you'll have like access plus like 2500 beater in the form of say DPE or Ixchel, and that's not enough for game. But if you have Boral Sword in addition to Ixchel or DPE, that's game. And then we have Intis. Intis is here for Diviner, so going second, you can send Intis to pop cards to bait stuff out your opponent controls. So yeah, one Intis, and then DPE obviously, and then we run one Ding. You can make this with like two Superbias. I think that's the only way you can make this, but it's not that hard. It's just one of those utility cards that you'll be glad that you had in the deck. And this is also something that's really cool. Two Eggshells can make Super Dreadnought, Rail Cannon, and then you could just overlay into the Juggernaut. And that's how you OTK. Also, it's another WinCon, and then Zeus, obviously, because we are running the XEs. You have a decent amount of flex spots in the extra deck. I have not tested Pot of Prosperity, but unfortunately Pot of Prosperity just conflicts with Ixchel, and Ixchel's like a main card in the deck. Otherwise, I would definitely run Prosperity as a consistency card for sure, 100%. And then if I wasn't playing the Diviner combo, I would be running like Desires. But yeah. So yeah, let's get into the one card combo. Alright guys, so here is the one card combo with Diviner. It just requires that you have Diviner, but for Herald of the Orange Light to be live, it does require you to have one other fairy to be able to pitch with the Orange Light, which is not hard in this deck because you're running so many fairies. So anyway, normal summon Diviner, activate the effect. Again, your main target here is to send your Trias. And then once Trias is engraved, you can tribute this to summon Trias, and then when you tribute this, it gains its effect, or triggers its effect, to summon Eva from the deck, so it's any level 2 or lower. So you summon Eva, and then you go into your Link 2, into your Verte. It all depends what you opened up with. If you did open up Fusion Destiny, you would make, you can make Herald, which is amazing, or you can make your Condemned, so it all depends. So we go Verte, and unfortunately this gets banished when you summon it, which sucks. Otherwise we'd be able to use it for Eva. But for Eva, you would just banish the Diviner to search your Herald of Orange Light, and then you'll activate the effect of Verte to send Fusion Destiny with Dasher and Celestial to summon DPE. So yeah, it's not really the craziest thing, but again, for Darklords to be able to have access to a one-card combo that does at least give them DPE and Herald, you know, it's pretty strong. It's actually, I mean, it's one of the more competitive cards definitely to play in the deck, and that's the reason I love like Diviner so well, or so much. It just sends any fairy. Which is great. So that also has synergy with the Darklords, depending again what you are aiming to accomplish. If you're going first, if you're going second, what you opened up with. So yeah, that is it. That's it for the one card combo. So it's this, and like let's say you just open up a Superbia, like something that's dead, or you opened up like two Diviner, you'd at least be able to use this for a monster negate and that for a pop, and then obviously you have Celestial Dasher for the follow up as well. So yeah, let's get into some test hands. Alright, here we go. Just did a quick power shuffle. And let's showcase what this deck can do. This is one of those decks also. I'm not really, as you could tell, I'm not playing too many hand traps. Aside from the two Herald and the Imperm. Because this is a combo deck, or it's a combo deck that has a control, I guess, aspect to it. But again, you want to play with as many cards as possible in your hand, just because of the way Darklords are designed. But I really do like the archetype. I mean, it can be underwhelming at times, but if you do want to play the deck competitively, I think this is the way to go. So test hand number one, we have one Imperm. We have Indulged, Banishment, which is decent, Forbidden Droplet, and another Indulge, which sucks. But yeah, as you can see, this is how we get the engine going. So I think I'll start off with the Indulge here, and then, you know, if I had to eat a hand trap, I think I would rather Indulge here, because then I could freely just use the Banishment and maybe search an Ixchel. So basically what we want to do here is we want to give our opponent, say we could give them, again, most of the time you are going to give them Uko back, and then you can add a, excuse me, a Eggshell to hand. This is also a card that I just wish that it searched any Darklord card. I don't know why the Link 2 and this card just search monsters. You know, when searching spells, traps, in addition to your monsters would add so much more consistency to the deck. But anyway, you basically give this to your opponent, and then you add the Eggshell to hand. And then from here we could deck thin. We can search a contact or contract, which is the Monster Reborn. But I guess this is a very, it all depends on what we draw, honestly, with Eggshell. So what I am going to do first is I'm going to go for the draw, and then depending on what we draw, that's going to determine what I search with Banishment. Okay. Unfortunately here, though, is we can't make Verte because we won't be able to use the effect since we're locked into using just fairy monster effects. But what would be amazing is drawing into Fusion Destiny, which again is the goal. So let's use Eggshell's effect. We're going to send this to the grave right here and draw 2 cards. So this is the Angel 01. Fusion Destiny. All right, here we go. That's really good. So now this is pretty good. So we can go Banishment, and then Banishment can search us the contract, and then we'll use contract here to summon Eggshell. This is for our opponent, obviously. So there's a couple of things we can do. We can make the Darklord Link 2, and we can search for Morningstar, and we can summon 01 and get the additional tribute. And then we could use Morningstar's effect to potentially summon Amdusk from the deck. But I'm just wondering if we should commit to all that. I guess we can make the Herald, so we have a spell trap negate. So I think here's what we'll do. I'll activate the effect of Eggshell by paying 1,000. We'll have her copy the Banishment, and then we'll just keep contacting grave. And with this, I can just search the. Let's see, what can I search actually? I kind of want to search a spell or trap, but I don't think we can. So many options here. We can search another high level to be able to summon 01 from hand. We're definitely going to end with a decent board here. I just want to see what the best line of play is here. I think we have to search. I think Superbia is going to be the way. We're going to use the effect as 01, reveal Superbia, special summon. And then using these two right here, we're going to go into, because they're both, oh no, actually we can't do that. Because this is a light and this is a dark. Alright, so this is interesting. We could go into the Condemned here. But what does that really do for us? I think we have to backtrack it a little bit. So keeping this in hand, I think what we can do instead is just add the pop. Because I think any other any other line of play we make is going to force us to go a little minus, honestly. So the reason that I searched this is because we're going to be able to pop 2 on our opponent's turn. Honestly, we're going to be able to pop 3 because of the Phoenix Enforcer, which is nice. So we'll just set this. Okay, this will be part of the end board. And we'll keep this in hand, I guess. It can potentially be a follow-up play. And we'll use the the Fusion Destiny, and we'll just summon our Phoenix Enforcer. Okay, and Phoenix Enforcer here is we could just pop the Uko back so that way they don't have anything to work with. And oh, actually we can't use the effect, I forgot. Because we're locked into fairies because of this damn card. It's fine, it's totally fine. At least we can play around Imperm that way. But yeah, that is it for the end of the combo. We can set these two cards. So we technically ended with 5 disruptions if we count like Droplet and the Infinite, and then 3 disruptions if we don't count these cards. So 5 disruptions, that's not bad at all. We'll be able to send this card to resolve this card the first time to pop, and then we'll be able to use the effect to copy this to shuffle it back into the deck to pop an additional card, and then Phoenix Enforcer will pop another card, so that's 3 cards that we'll be able to pop, plus we have 2 forms of monster negation, so we can just send the 0-1 if we need to with droplets. It all depends on what our opponent does, pretty much. Then we have the draw 2 next turn, which is really good. I think that was honestly a pretty decent first test hand, but let's get into another one. So I would say a pretty good first test hand. Not bad, not the greatest, obviously, but we still managed to end with a decent amount of disruptions. But yeah, let's see if we can keep it going. Hopefully I can showcase something a bit more interesting or exciting. But just overall, my concern mainly is to make the deck as just consistent as possible. But yeah, let's get right into test hand number 2. I hope you guys enjoy videos like this. I really do. I think it's, and I really hope that anybody watching and is interested in learning the deck does benefit from these test hands. Alright, so we have an okay hand here. We have the Fusion Destiny, we have the Imperm, so we have like disruption already. But here we can just, I guess we can search Eggshell. I don't really see, actually, maybe the Indulge, because the Indulge here will get us another body alongside the Eggshell, or alongside adding the Eggshell. And it will deck thin as well, so there's a higher chance that we do draw contact off Eggshell. Yeah, I can't really depend on drawing Diviner. Like, I really want to draw Diviner, but we did draw the Eva. Actually, this might be the better option here. So we'll summon, activate effect. We'll give ourselves the Eggshell, and we'll special summon the Uko on our opponent's side of the field here. Okay, and well, my thought process here is that if we draw contact right now, I think that's the main card we really want to draw. If we don't draw contact, I'd like to at least draw one of the Darklord Speller Traps. But mainly here, I really want to draw contact. So let's see. Let's see where this Eggshell gets us. So we'll activate the effect. We'll pitch the Zerato. And we'll draw 2. That's 0-1, so not really what we want. Or Superbia. That's also not the greatest, but at least we still have the Fusion Destiny here, as well as Eva. Oh, actually, we have 0-1, so this isn't an activated effect. It's just you reveal it and then you special, kind of like how when you want to summon alternative, you just reveal the blue eyes and oh, it doesn't even matter. It's a fairy. This doesn't lock you into Darklords. It locks you into fairy effects for the rest of the turn, so it's not even relevant. But mainly, this actually came in really clutch alongside drawing the Superbia, because you'll see why in a second. We can go into Condemned. Yeah, this actually ends us with pretty decent board now that I think about it. So Condemned, and then we'll be able to pitch the Eva. Yeah, Eva just has to be, Eva just has to hit the grave, doesn't matter from where. Yes, perfect. And then we'll just add ourselves, we can add ourselves another eggshell for the following turn, because we do have Superbia in hand. So we'll have like that guaranteed follow-up. And then we'll be able to activate Eva to banish 2. So we can banish like the O1 and I guess the Indulge. And then we can add Orange Light and we can add a Diviner, I guess. So depending on what our opponent does, we can pitch like the Superbia and just keep Diviner, keep Eggshell in hand. So yeah, that's pretty nice actually. That was pretty good. And then we can just activate the Fusion Destiny here, and we could send, you know, our Celestial and Dasher. And yeah, we end with. So we end with Imperm. We end with the Enforcer, but we also end with the Herald Negate. So with Herald, we can either pitch this and kind of keep Diviner in hand. Diviner in hand, Diviner, because we have the Eva, it's actually still pretty good because we can still send the Trias and then tribute this and then still special from deck and be able to link climb potentially into an Access Code or a Boral Sword and OTK from there, especially because we have this. So next turn it'll definitely be like Boral Sword, OTK if they can't out like these 3 disruptions. We definitely have OTK next turn. Yeah, that was pretty good. I like that test hand a lot. Let's get into another test hand, possibly the last one. Alright, fam, did another power shuffle here, so depending on what we draw, how fast, like if it's a subpar hand or if it's a very quick play, a very simple line of play that doesn't take much time, then I'll potentially do a 4th test hand. But yeah, first 2 test hands so far, those were pretty good. Ended with multiple disruptions. Follow up. Yeah, DP is just great in this deck, but I also love the Darklord cards. Just a very unique playstyle in my opinion. Eggshell, Imperm, Amdusk, Imperm, and Eggshell. Alright, Eggshell, you gotta save us here. So activate Eggshell, draw 2. There we go. That was pretty broken, honestly. Those draws were really good. We drew the Diviner. And we drew Banishment, which is so good. So it depends what you want to accomplish here. I mean, everybody wants to ash this, but if they didn't ash it, or potentially if they're saving like a an Imperm of their own, or like a Veiler or something like that, I would like to bait it out first. So what we can do here is we can go. What am I doing? We can go Banishment to search Contact, skip the step, and then we can activate the Contact to revive the Eggshell. And now Eggshell effect, we'll attempt to use Eggshell's effect here to copy the Contact, so that way we can revive back Amdusk. And if they Imperm here, that's great, because we still have our Diviner play, but we'll just play it out, right? I'm just activating, you know, Banishment first, searching Contact. That way I can get through as many hand traps as possible before I commit the Diviner play, if that makes sense. But yeah, so anyway, we'll copy the Contact here. We'll obviously pay 1,000. We'll copy Contact to summon the Amdusk. And then we'll use Amdusk here to search ourselves, to copy the Banishment. And then here I'd like to search my favorite one, which is Rebellion. Yeah, for sure. And let's see what we can do here. Yeah, I want to keep these on board. Especially if I'm going to be copying like the trap. So I guess we'll just go Diviner. And then Diviner will send us the Trias. And what's funny here is we could get the draw too, because we have 3 of the fairies. So if we really wanted to be greedy, we could draw 2. And this will still be live because we have eggshell. But I'm not sure if that's the smartest play. So we'll go tribute, just the diviner here, and then we'll activate diviner to summon the Eva. If you were scared, like if this was, if this was like game, say game 2, like, or game, game 2, say post siding, you're scared of Nib, you can definitely play around Nib with this hand. Only because you can, like, you don't have to commit like that much. You can potentially like do the diviner play and then search like the orange light, and then you could commit like the eggshell, and well, not the eggshell, the well, actually we drew this off the eggshell. I totally forgot. I forgot about that. So actually eggshell was our only play. We needed to do it that way. Yeah, so just but anyway, I mean, even if you, so I guess you could have just stopped right here and like just set, and it's still, your board without the diviner play still would have been 1, 2, 3, 4 disruptions, because you would have the 2 imperm plus the 2 pops. But you know, that's boring. It's boring. We want to go all out. So even with a diviner play here, like say, I think this will be the 5th summon. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, that would have been the 5th summon. So they could nib you here. If they nib here, Eva will search us orange light, in addition to like another fairy. So we'd still be able to have like the orange light negate with 2 imperm with this, with a pop. The only thing I dislike about that is that we won't have follow-up. So we basically have to depend on the draw. But anyway, I digress. So let us go. I'm going to use one of the Darklords. The reason that I want to use one of the Darklords is when I link off Eva and the Darklord, it's going to hit Grave. If I link this off, it's going to get banished, so we won't get the double search with Eva. And plus, we weren't going to be able to resolve Amdusk anyway. Or it's either you send Ixchel or Amdusk. It doesn't really matter. I guess you can send Ixchel. That way you have like the a different name always. So we could send the Ixchel instead. Because we do have another eggshell in hand, and this is our only copy of Amdusk. So yeah, we'll go into link 2, and we can just go Verte. And now that's going to trigger Eva. We're going to banish the eggshell as well as Diviner. And that's going to be able to search us orange light, and I guess it depends what you don't mind discarding. Like if you want to have a higher chance of drawing Diviner, then maybe like you can search a 01 instead. What's cool is that you could actually use 01 here. If you wanted to, you could reveal the eggshell special summon to just get another extender. But mainly I just searched it just so it can be free discard for Herald. But yeah, so far this hand's looking really good though. So now we can activate Verte, Fusion Destiny, and then send Celestial Dasher. To summon our DPE. So guys, the end board is pretty strong here because we opened up the double imperm. We searched the Rebellion. So we'll have 1, 2, this ton of disruptions actually. So 1, 2 disruptions, 3, 4 by sending the eggshell from hand. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we'll be able to copy it with the Amdusk to pop another card. So we'll have 2 pops, 2 monster negates, another pop, so 3 pops, and then another monster negate here. So 3 pops and 3 monster negates, and then Herald obviously being able to destroy and negating as well. So guys, that was the best test hand, which was great. We definitely got lucky with that eggshell draw because we drew Diviner, and that basically allowed our hand to be just insanely good. Oh, and we drew Banishment as well, which is great. So yeah, guys, hope you guys enjoyed. If you're a fan of Darklords, let me know. I hope you guys are happy with this list. Feel free to make any changes. So if this isn't like your style, but there were some things that really stood out to you. I mean, I'm glad. I'm happy to give you guys some ideas. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care and peace.